Hello YouTube, my name's Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare playing a bit of Team Deathmatch here on the map Skyrise. And if you guys don't know, there was actually a Skyrise 24/7 playlist on Advanced Warfare yesterday. What it did was it gave you double XP while playing in that playlist. I think it was only available for 1 day, although they mentioned that it might be available for 48 hours rather than 24 hours, but I haven't been on my Xbox yet today, so I don't know. It could still be up, who knows. But yeah, it was basically a 24/7 playlist where you'd play basically a mosh pit of game modes on the map Skyrise itself, and you would get double XP while playing. Also, they made it so you had an increased chance to get elite variants out of supply drops, which is kind of nice. I didn't get anything good. I ended up getting the KF5 breakneck again, but I already have the breakneck. In fact, I've gotten multiple breaknecks at this point, so it's like, man, that just stinks. So I got to redeem for XP, so I guess it wasn't a total loss. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the gameplay today. A little bit of Skyrise gameplay along with some other stuff, because I ended up playing like 10 hours of Advanced Warfare yesterday. It was kind of crazy. You know, I saw that there was a playlist, a Skyrise 24/7 playlist. I was like, that's going to be cool. Let's go play that. We'll get open lobby, get some subscribers in there. And before I knew it, I ended up playing for like 10 hours straight, and besides eating, I stopped to eat like in between, but still, it was pretty insane playing all that Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And it was pretty fun. I got a lot of gameplay, some really cool clips if you guys follow me on Twitter, and so yeah, we're going to show a little bit of gameplay from that today. Nothing really exceptional, to be perfectly honest, because, you know, I don't want to take all my great gameplay and put it in Nero, because half the people don't even watch gameplay in Nero. I'll save the really good gameplay stuff for other videos, and we'll put some average gameplay, I'd say, in here for this week's Nero. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that as we hop into the questions here for this week's episode of Nero. Of course, the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions. The first one here is pretty interesting, so let's go ahead and hop into it. He's gonna write, Dear Nero, have you tried the classic / non-exosuit game mode in Advanced Warfare yet? Bryce from Florida. So Bryce, I have played the classic non-exosuit game mode and I actually really enjoy it. So it's basically like a mosh pit of different game modes in Advanced Warfare, but you don't have exosuits, and it fundamentally changes how you play Advanced Warfare. Like little tiny, you know, quality of life improvements that you're used to having. Like, for example, you're playing on the map Riot. You know, if you want to get upstairs, instead of like climbing up the ladder or going downstairs, going up the stairs, you would just jump up and then you'd be able to run inside the building, right? Or if you want to get on top of the roof, you just jump on top of the roof. If you want to get anywhere on that map, it's very easy to do so while just jumping because you have exosuits, right? But if you're playing the non-exosuit playlist and you're playing on Riot, it's a lot different because you have to actually like, oh wait, I have to like find a ladder? Where's the ladder at? I never paid attention to ladders before, so you're like looking around for ladders and stuff. It's really different. And I like it. I gotta say, I did like it. I thought it was pretty fun. It definitely makes the game feel like a completely different game. The maps play completely differently when you're playing the classic playlist as compared to when you're playing the standard playlist in Advanced Warfare. It's definitely a whole lot different. I did notice that it was a lot slower. It was definitely a lot more slow compared to what we're used to, and I think people played slower even compared to what you see in the normal playlist. So in a normal playlist, you have people always moving around, always using their exosuits, always jumping, dashing, doing whatever, right? I found that in the classic playlist, like your typical Call of Duty players, you know, the guys that sit in the corners, guys that sit in windowsills and stuff, those guys were there a lot more. I noticed while I was playing. I would trek my way all the way across the map, which keep in mind, it actually takes a long time to get across the map when you don't have exosuits. And then you finally get there, and there's like this guy who's like laying down in the hallway randomly, and he kills you. It's like, wait, what? And then, you know, you're wondering why they play like that, because you're just so not used to it, because you're used to people running around with their exosuits so much. So it's definitely a lot different. I really think it's kind of cool, and I would like to see them support it a little bit more. I would play the classic playlist a bit more, I think, if they had more options for game modes and specific options for game modes as well. For example, I think I would like that playlist a lot if they had a specific playlist for momentum, a specific playlist for domination, for hardpoint, even a ground war. What about a classic ground war? I think that'd be really fun because, again, like I said, it's pretty slow in my own experience anyway. When I play the classic non-exit playlist, I think it's really slow because it's 6-on-6 and the maps are pretty big. The maps were designed to be used, to have exosuits used on them, right? They were designed with that in mind, so they're pretty big maps overall, and they're actually really difficult to navigate when you're running around without an exo. And so, but the fact that 6-on-6 plus the maps are pretty big and it's kind of difficult to navigate, it's pretty slow. Like, if you play a game of Team Deathmatch in the classic playlist, it takes forever just to find people. It really does. So I think it'd be cool if they did a ground war variant of that. But yeah, it's been so long since the game has come out and said that since they've had this classic playlist, I really doubt they're going to be updating it. But I would love to see like a ground war, like a 9-on-9 classic, because I really think that would it'd be a whole different feel. It would be a whole new Advanced Warfare at that point. But yeah, I do like the game mode. It's just it's kind of slow for me. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, do you think we will ever see any actual weapon balance in Advanced Warfare, or will it remain Call of Duty ASM1 Warfare? Also, why do you think people are so reluctant to play the objective and objective-based game modes? Love the videos. Keep up the great work. Alex from Massachusetts. So, Alex, do I think there will be any actual weapon balance in Advanced Warfare? I don't think any game has perfect weapon balance, but Advanced Warfare is continuing to work on its weapon balance. Actually, there's going to be an update tomorrow. At the time of this video going up, it is going to be on July 9th. They're actually going to be updating, I believe, the MP11, the SAC-3 singles, the Moors, along with like a bunch of pistols like the PW and the Atlas 45 and stuff like that, as well as there may be some other weapons that are being updated. I think I heard something about the crossbow, maybe? I think the crossbow is also getting updated somehow. I don't know how they would update it, but yeah, they're going to be balancing some of these weapons. One's going to assume they're going to be buffing the guns. I remember hearing that the MP11 and the SAC-3 singles are going to be getting buffed, which makes sense because the SAC-3 singles are just reskinned MP11s, so to buff up one without buffing the other would just seem to be silly. So they're going to be updating those weapons, but what you're talking about with the Ball 27 and the ASM1, do I think they're going to nerf those weapons? I don't think they're going to nerf them. We are 9 months into Advanced Warfare at this point. There's people like me that have been complaining about those weapons for like literally half a year now, and they're still yet to really do anything about it. And you look at the kill feed of like your average Call of Duty game, you know, I'm going to say probably 70% of the kill feed, 70% of the people in every single game, they're going to be using the ball, they're going to be using the ASM1, and it's an inevitability now. I'm at the point where I've kind of gotten over it, to be perfectly honest. We'll be talking about that in a video here coming up here on the channel later on this week, but I've kind of gotten over the idea of the Ball 27 and the ASM1 being overpowered, and I think I'm enjoying Advanced Warfare a little bit more as a result of that. But again, we'll be talking about that later on here in the week, making an entire video on that because there's a lot that I want to say on that subject. But the other part of your question here, why are people so reluctant to play the objective and objective-based game modes? One thing to remember about Call of Duty, it's sometimes easy to forget this because you look at myself, I've been playing Call of Duty for almost 10 years now. It doesn't seem like Call of Duty's even been out that long, but it has. You know, 2007 is when I started playing, and it's 2015, so we are 8 years in right now. So I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty over the years, right? You guys are big fans of Call of Duty. You guys probably don't play as much as I have over the years, or maybe you do. I don't know you. Why would I make that assumption? But chances are probably a lot of you haven't played as much Call of Duty as me, but still you are big fans of the series because you take an invested interest in it, and you're taking interest in Call of Duty outside of just actually playing the game. You're here on YouTube watching somebody talk about Call of Duty while playing Call of Duty. You know, it's, you know, you're a bigger fan of Call of Duty than most people. But something to remember is Call of Duty itself, it sells tens of millions of copies every single year. It is one of the biggest names in gaming, so it has a wide audience, and your general player, like your average Call of Duty player, is somebody that gets like, you know, 1 day, maybe 2 days of playtime throughout the entirety of the year. They just want to hop on, run around with their rocket launcher, you know, they want to run around with a gun, you know, pew pew, get some kills. They don't care if they go positive, they don't care if they go negative. You know, to them, if they get 30 kills in a match and died 30 times, it doesn't matter. They got 30 kills in the match, you know, that's cool to them. The average player in Call of Duty is a very casual player that just wants to hop on, play, and do whatever. You know, so to us, it's like we're playing Hardpoint. It's like, why aren't you helping us capture the Hardpoint? It's right there. You know, don't you understand how this works? But to other people, they just don't care. They're online. They just want to, you know, shoot stuff and level up and get guns and just have fun. You know, they don't really necessarily care about the objective, nor do they probably even care about like what their KD or their win-loss or even what the combat record is. They probably don't care. The average player in Call of Duty just really probably doesn't care too much about that. But then there's other people who, there are people that do care about stats, and they are big fans of Call of Duty, but they just don't care about winning, because this is something I've complained about for years now, and it's something I'll complain about to the end of time until they fix it. I wish there was more incentive for players to play the objective in Call of Duty, to try and give them more of an incentive to actually win, to try and make matches a little bit more competitive. Now, I think Advanced Warfare has actually done a pretty good job of that, because if you guys remember, it's been so long now that you guys probably don't even remember it, but it happened, when did that update happen? Gosh, it was maybe a month into the game. I could be wrong about the date, but they updated Advanced Warfare, so you end up getting a lot more points for playing the objective, like maybe a month into the game, and that's why it's ridiculously easy to get kill streaks in Advanced Warfare. If you're playing Domination, you go cap 2 flags and get a couple of kills, and suddenly you have a bombing run. You can get a ridiculous amount of score streaks in Advanced Warfare just by playing the objective, right? You can get so many of them. It's crazy fun. That's why I like playing Ground War. If it's Ground War Domination, I have a blast, because I can just cycle through kill streaks ridiculously quickly without even getting a lot of kills it just by playing the objective, because I've always been an objective player. But yeah, I think the thing to remember is not everybody playing Call of Duty is a super hardcore fan of Call of Duty. Most people are just casual fans that want to hop on, go pew pew, shoot some things, you know, and maybe blow some stuff up with a rocket launcher and try and get some score streaks. That's the majority of the Call of Duty player base. So while I would love for them to change it so there's something that we could do to try and incentivize us to win more, like a big bonus in experience or something, I don't know, but I would just love people to play the objective a little bit more, because it's just like you, I like it. I like good competitive matches. I think those are fun. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I'm thinking about doing football at my high school, and luckily it is not too late to sign up, and I know that you did football, so I was wondering what kind of things did you do in practice, and how much did you enjoy doing it? Adam from Illinois. So Adam here is talking about American football, I would hope anyway. If you're talking about what we call soccer over here, then I don't really know what to tell you, because I played youth soccer. I think I was maybe 10 years old at the time when last time I played soccer. I still have some of my jerseys, in fact, from that. But yeah, I played youth soccer, so I don't know what that would be like for high school. But if you're talking about American football in high school, I think I can give you a little bit of an idea of what to expect from that. Now, keep in mind, every school is going to be different. Every school has its own coach staff, its own philosophy, and its own training. They all do things differently, right? But this is what I did, and you can probably expect some pretty similar things. So for football, for us, we had what was called Hell Weeks during the summer. So for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we had 2-a-day practices. Now, what we would do with these 2-a-day practices, you'd get there early in the morning, and you would do some stretching initially, and then right after that, we went to position drills for the most part. Now, I was always a tall, skinny person in high school, so they had me playing wide receiver on offense, and I played safety on defense. And so we'd go over to the receiver training at first, where basically we would just practice running routes, and we would practice catching the ball. It was actually pretty terrible, because like one of the first things we did, if you dropped any passes, they would make you do like 10 push-ups for every dropped pass in full pads. And it's like, we haven't played football in like a year. It's like our first time back, you know, and we're wearing pads and catching a football. If you guys don't know, like wearing shoulder pads and stuff is a lot different than playing in your backyard catching it without shoulder pads, you know. So we would drop a lot of passes, and so we would have to do a lot of push-ups just trying to get used to it. But at the end of the day, it made us a little bit stronger, and it taught us the value of catching the ball, that you don't want to drop it. So I guess it was a little bit of I guess it was kind of a good idea at the end of the day. Now I think back to it. But at the time, I hated it. But we would do position drills for a while. Then we'd do some team drills. And it was mainly just, you know, we'd line up in formations. We'd run some simple plays. You know, we'd run some run plays. Just practice our blocks, going through the motions, and just learning the playbook. That's really what we did initially towards the beginning of the day. Then we might have some scrimmages where we would have, like, the A team on offense face the A team on defense. So, no, it'd be the A team on offense and the B team on defense, because in our high school, anyway, most of the people that played offense also played defense. You know, I was a safety and wide receiver, and the quarterback, for example, was the other safety. I was a strong safety, he was a free safety, and that's how we did that. Some of the smaller wide receivers, they played corner. You know, our running back played middle linebacker because he was a big guy. Our offensive line generally played defensive line, and so on and so forth, right? Our tight ends would either be defensive ends, or I don't want to go on too long with this just because I'm afraid maybe some of you guys aren't really interested in American football. But yeah, we do a lot of position drills, and you do a lot of team-based things, and you would end up running a lot. You would end up doing a lot of workout stuff. Of course, you had to be part of the gym. Like, they'd actually have you working out in the high school gym, or in the high school, what do we call it, the weight room, not the gym, the high school weight room. We'd be working out in there as well. And yeah, you did a lot of exercise and a lot of position drills, and just trying to work together as a team. Now, if you're a fan of American football and you really think you want to do it, you should do it. I mean, if you're not in shape, it'll get you in shape, and probably the first couple practices will probably be pretty terrible, because you're not going to be used to that kind of exercise where you're constantly kind of running around and, you know, always doing stuff, you know. But after you get kind of used to it, it's really fun. And again, if you're a fan of American football, you'll probably like to play football itself because it's fun. If you like the game, why wouldn't you want to actually play it? And once you get over the fact that you probably aren't in the greatest of shape, once you get into shape after a couple practices, you'll find that it's pretty fun. I actually really enjoyed practices. Some people really dread having to go to practice, but I always enjoyed it because I enjoyed football. You know, I enjoyed, you know, going out there and doing the scrimmages and sitting there and playing against other people, and just practicing my routes and trying to be the best player I could be. I thought that was fun. And so if you're a fan of American football, or just any sport in general, try out for your team, man. Whether you're in college, community college, if you're in high school, middle school, wherever you are, man, try out for a team. A lot of schools that I'm aware of anyway, they just let you on the team just for signing up. Not too many schools you have to actually, you know, try out for the team. So if you just want to join the team and have some fun and play, go for it if you like the sport, because generally what you're going to expect from practice is there's going to be exercise, there's going to be running, there's going to be jogging, there's going to be sprinting and stuff like that, because they got to keep you in shape, right? But aside from that, a lot of it is just actually playing the game and practicing different aspects of that game. And if you're a fan of that game, why would you not want to do that? Because it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's my advice to you, Adam. My advice to any of you guys out there that may be wanting to join a sport. If you're a fan of that sport, why not try it? I mean, if you're out of shape, it's going to suck for the first couple practices, but eventually you get over that and you kind of get back into shape, which is why they have you do this stuff in the first place, and then you can actually start having some fun playing that sport, which is pretty cool. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, it seems that every year, gamers, myself included, expect more from video games. Do you think that we'll reach a point where game developers put too much content in their games and gamers start asking for more simplistic games? P.S. Keep up the great work, Nero. Looking forward to your Black Ops 3 content, from Brandon. So Brandon, I've never really seen that question posed before. Do you think that games have too much stuff to do in them? Do you think these games are too well developed? It's like, I don't think that's ever a complaint that anybody has, but I do definitely think that a lot of people have nostalgia for the older games that were maybe a bit more simple, right? You look at Call of Duty 4, which I didn't play much of Call of Duty 2 or Call of Duty 3. Both of those had multiplayer. But Call of Duty 4 was the first Call of Duty game that I played. It had a lot to it, but at the same time, not a lot compared to today's standards. You know, when that game initially came out, it was like the most revolutionary FPS game out there because it had a prestige system and a create a class system. And what are these? Kill streaks and perks and attachments, and it had all this crazy stuff, right, that the first two games didn't have, and a lot of other games at the time didn't have. It was a very revolutionary game. But looking back at now, it was a very simple game. In terms of the perks, there was a few optimal ways to run your perks in that game. Bandolier was like the default best perk one because it basically just gave you a lot more starting ammo. Stopping power was like the default perk two. It made your bullets do more damage. Some people would opt out for Juggernaut, which increased your health, but mainly people would lean towards stopping power. It was just a bit better. In terms of perk 3, just about everybody ran dead silence, so you couldn't hear us. At the time, Turtle Beach headsets were becoming a thing, and if you had one of those headsets, you could easily hear everybody as they're running around the map, and so people would counter that by using dead silence. Those were the 3 perks that I would use on every single class, depending on the game mode, I suppose. If I was playing Search and Destroy, I'd probably swap out, Bandolier for Bomb Squad, which was, something that would allow us to see claymores through walls and stuff like that. Or I would maybe swap out Dead Silence for Said Game if I was playing Ground War, because it's really kind of hard to hear anyway while you're playing Ground War. So it's like the perks were very simple. In terms of attachments on the weapons, there were 3 attachments. There was a red dot sight, there was a silencer, and there was an ACOG sight. Pick your poison. What do you want with that? You look at the kill streaks. There were 357. You had the UAV, you had the airstrike, and the attack helicopter. Very, very simple. Every single person had those, And the UAV was actually ridiculously good. It was really good because nobody would use the low profile equivalent in that game. There was a perk called UAV Jammer. That was a perk too, which would hide you from the UAV. But nobody used it because you would have to give up stopping power to have that. And if you give up stopping power, you're going to lose most of your gunfights for the fact that you don't have stopping power alone. So nobody did that. So you call on the UAV, everyone would show up on the UAV. The game was really about understanding the map, being able to read the mini-map, as well as a lot of gun skill, right? That's what Call of Duty 4 was. And you look at what we have here in Advanced Warfare, what we're going to have in Black Ops 3, it's a lot. There's a lot more to the games now. There is so much more to the games. In terms of just the class setups alone, you look at all of the attachments and all of the perks and all of the customizable kill streaks that you have, it's a lot different. It's definitely a lot more content, a lot more stuff for you to actually play around with. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing, right? I think it's cool that you're adding more things to your game, right? And while I do have nostalgia for, first learning, getting my toes wet in the Call of Duty franchise back in Call of Duty 4 and kind of getting used to this series and just everything about that game. While I do have a lot of nostalgia for those older games, I still think that Call of Duty is going in the right direction by adding a lot of cool stuff to their games. You look at just all the crazy attachments, all the customization for your guns, and even more in Black Ops 3. We have a ton more customization in Black Ops 3 for our weapons. It is going to be pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think it's going to be great, and that's actually going to tie into our next question here. But yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be a point where we're asking for more simplistic games. I think people really like having all of the options that they have at their disposal. People love options. People love customization, and Call of Duty is just getting better and better with that every single year. Again, you look at what we're getting in Black Ops 3. We're getting a gunsmith where you can create this awesome looking gun, and then you have, of course, the paint shop where you get to kind of make your own camo on top of there as well and name the weapon itself, and we're going to be able to customize our foregrips and our silencers and all that stuff. It's going to be cool. Black Ops 3 is going to be very cool for that. I don't think a lot of people, at least in the Call of Duty space, are going to be asking for a more simplistic game. Generally generally speaking, people like a bit more complication to their games, which kind of sounds bad, but I think people like games that are a bit more deep and have a bit more of a learning curve because there's a lot more to explore and a lot more content to the game as a result of that. Next question, which ties into the one that we just talked about. He's going to rate Dear Nero. In Black Ops 3, Treyarch has confirmed a gunsmith idea. This will therefore allow players to focus on making their gun powerful, but will sacrifice some perks or score streaks. Do you think this will be abused by people who will stock up on perks and score streaks and then take someone else's gun that has all the attachments in use? Troy from the UK. Troy, I don't think that's going to be the case. That just seems like a silly idea. So if you guys don't know, the gunsmith in Black Ops 3 is going to allow you to have up to 6 attachments on your weapon at once, which makes like no sense to me. I'm trying to think here. Let's take a gun. Let's take the AK-12 in Advanced Warfare. On my AK-12, if I got 6 attachments, let's count here. I want a silencer as number 1. I'll take a foregrip as number 2. Extended mag as number 3. Quick draw grip as number 4. Adjustable stock as number 5. And jeez, a red dot sight? Maybe it's number 6. I don't know. I guess those would be maybe my 6 attachments, right? That would be a pretty good gun. It'd be pretty cool to be able to have all of that at once on your gun. But keep in mind, if you do that, you're going to have like no space whatsoever left on your class. Because again, it's going back to like a pick. It's a pick 10 or pick 13. I get this mixed up because all the games kind of have these pick systems now. But there's going to be a selection system, kind of similar to what we had in Black Ops 2, kind of similar to what we have in Advanced Warfare, where you're going to have a certain number of picks that you can have in your class. And if you choose to have 6 attachments on your weapon, you're not going to have a lot of slots left to be able to actually have perks, to be able to have kill streaks or anything like that, right? So just keep that in mind. The thing that Troy here is suggesting that maybe people are going to have a gun, say, with no attachments whatsoever, and they're just going to stock up on as many perks as possible and as many kill streaks as possible, and then just pick up somebody else's gun that does have 6 attachments on it, then that person would suddenly be overpowered. One thing to remember in Call of Duty, you die a lot. You die a lot in Call of Duty. Regardless of how OP you may think your class setup is, you're still going to end up dying quite a bit because it's Call of Duty. It's a very random game. You're going to be constantly getting shot from the side or the back, or you may just lose a gunfight due to lag, or the person had better aim, or maybe he got a lucky headshot or 2 on you. You never know. Call of Duty is a very, very random game. So even if you were to get in that perfect situation, right, where you have just every great perk in the game and all these cool score streaks, you're just ready to go. You find an AK-12, just for example, again, using AK-12 as an example, you find this AK-12 on the ground that's got all these 6 attachments and they're all really good. You know, you may get some kills with it, but chances are you're going to eventually end up getting shot in the back, or something's going to happen, right? There's no real way to become overpowered in that sense. And just think about it, you could do that essentially here in Advanced Warfare already. You can load up on a gun that has no attachments. You can get 6 perks. Let's say you can get low profile, you can get lightweight, you can get peripherals, you can get blind eye, you can get toughness, you can get like blast suppressor, right? Then you can also get 4 score streaks, maybe. I don't know if that's possible. But you can do all that, maybe 3 score streaks, and you can go and pick up somebody's gun. Like, oh, look at me, I have all these crazy score streaks and all these crazy perks, and I got this really good gun now. You're still gonna die eventually. You're sure you may go on a good kill streak now and again, but you're probably still gonna die. So I think it's gonna be balanced in that respect. And again, just going back to the last question, I think it's gonna be really cool that we're gonna be able to have an extra layer of customization in Call of Duty, in that we're going to be able to have a ridiculously buffed up gun if we want it, or we can have a gun with no attachments, or we can have a bunch of perks or a bunch of kill streaks, or we can really tailor our class to be whatever it is we want it to be. And that's why Call of Duty is fun, man. You get to play around with it so much and really customize your character and your class and your setup to whatever it is you want it to be, and you can really tailor your own experience. You know, a lot of games, they kind of have this philosophy of, okay, this is how you're going to have fun. You go have fun. Whereas Call of Duty is like, here's all your options. Choose how you want to have fun. Right, that's why I think Call of Duty is so successful. It's going to be a really fun time. I'm looking forward to learning more about Black Ops 3 and the entire idea of Weaponsmith and the paint shop and just what we're going to be able to do with that create class in general. Definitely looking forward to the beta. Next question, he rates, Dear Nero, I've been watching you since Black Ops 2, and you have been my favorite YouTuber since. Now I'm wondering, will you get a t-shirt design soon? Because I will buy 2 from Ziggy in Australia. So Ziggy, the idea of having an apparel line here for NerosCinema, I'm not opposed to that idea whatsoever. I've actually gotten that question multiple times. I think I've answered it a couple times as well, but again, so many people are asking me about it that I like to answer it every now and again just to kind of remind people. I'm not opposed to the idea of having like a t-shirt line or even other things. Like some people have it so like you can get phone cases and stuff like that as well. I'm not opposed to any of that. It's just I don't have a designer that could put together that stuff, nor do I have really any ideas of what to do in terms of like a t-shirt line. Like in terms of my logo, the only logo I have, some people have multiple logos and stuff. I have the N logo. That's it. It's just an N logo, And so I don't really have anything that I really want to put on a t-shirt, like a white t-shirt with the N logo. Like, I want to do something cooler than that, So if I ever could come up with like an idea to actually make like a line of shirt stuff, I would do that. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be cool. And if people want to be able to buy that kind of thing, then sure, I should give it to them. But it's just a matter of actually coming up with the idea and coming up with an artist and actually being able to figure that stuff out. So there's going to be a line sometime in the future. I think it's pretty safe to say that. I just don't know when that's going to be or exactly what the designs are going to be. I'm always open to your guys' suggestions on that kind of stuff. It's something that it's hard to think. It's hard to put stuff like that together. So if you have some any suggestions for that, I would be more than happy to read that in the comment section below. Next and final question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, I just recently watched a video saying that every year Call of Duty developers give us less content on disc. For example, in Black Ops, we got the campaign, we got the multiplayer, 2 zombies maps, Dead Ops Arcade, and more. But in Advanced Warfare, we got campaign, multiplayer, and Exo Survival. I just wanted to see if you agree that we should get more for our money and developers should listen more to the community. Jacob from Maine. So Jacob, the last part of your question there, should the developers listen more to the community? Definitely. But it's hard to listen to the community at the same time because some people in the community are like, make snipers the best thing ever and nerf everything else, or nerf this gun, or change around. So some things people want to have happen in the game are just absurd, right? Some things are just insane. But a lot of the stuff that they actually suggest, like, oh, can we like balance out the weapons a bit more? Like the MK14 is really weak. Can we buff that up a little bit? So little suggestions like that, of course, is a good thing, and developers themselves should take that into consideration. So of course, yeah, it's always good when a developer or a studio listens to the community that's playing their game, because those are the people that bought the game, those are the people that support the game, and those are the people that continue to play the game. So it's definitely good for the developers to actually listen to their community in that respect. But the other part of your question, do I think that we're getting less content on Call of Duty discs, and do I think that we should get more for our money? I feel as though Call of Duty itself, in video games in general, not even just specific to Call of Duty, I think that video games themselves give you a ridiculous amount of value for your time. It is amazing. Like, you spend $60 on a game, and the amount of time that you can put in for that $60 is insane, to the point where you're spending pennies per hour of entertainment as compared to other forms of media. And I've made videos about this, talking about going to the movies. You spend $15 at the movies for 2 hours of entertainment. $15 for 2 hours of entertainment? Are you kidding me? You compare that to like what you spend in video games, like $15 for a new DLC in Call of Duty, and the amount, like, infinite number of hours you may put into that multiplayer, the new multiplayer maps and the zombies and what have you that you got with that DLC. It's insane the amount of content, the amount of time that you can put in for $15 in a video game as compared to what you can do with like movies or television shows or going to a concert or any other forms of entertainment outside of gaming, right? Gaming is great in that respect. It's actually a very cheap hobby, all things considered, if you consider the amount of time that you can put into a video game. You look at Black Ops. Let's explore this. In Black Ops, we got campaign, multiplayer, 2 zombies maps, Dead Ops Arcade, and more. Now, I'm trying to figure out what you mean by "and more," because everything you listed is pretty much everything that came with the game. There was the campaign, of course, great campaign. I love the Black Ops campaign. Multiplayer itself, great multiplayer. It has its guns, it's got its kill streaks, it has its maps. There was the multiplayer, right? That was there. 2 zombies maps. Those maps were King of the Troton as well as 5. Those were the maps that came with it, as well as Dead Ops Arcade, which was kind of like an arcade game, which is actually surprisingly very fun to play. Dead Ops Arcade was pretty cool. In Advanced Warfare, you're right, we did seem to get a little bit less on disc, but at the same time, we really didn't. So let's talk about that. Advanced Warfare, we got the campaign, of course, we had the multiplayer itself, and Exo Survival. Now, Exo Survival itself, it could be said, it could be argued, that Exo Survival itself wasn't really, it was on the same level as zombies. You really just took the multiplayer maps that already existed in the game and made it so waves of enemies would come at you. But of course, they had to actually put in their own time and their own assets into that and actually make it so it worked well. And they had to add in special things towards the end, like be able to give you the zombies cutscene at the end and stuff like that. So it wasn't really that great. I'll be the first to admit that. I didn't really like it myself. But yeah, I do think that we should remember that in Advanced Warfare, you look at these supply drops and all the weapon variants that we have in the game itself. If you count in like all the weapon variants, that's like freaking hundreds upon hundreds of different weapons in Advanced Warfare's multiplayer itself, along with completely redesigning the game itself in terms of its movement system and the exosuits and the customizable score streaks. I don't think that we necessarily got less content on Advanced Warfare as compared to like what we got with Black Ops. And you look at every Call of Duty game that has come out over the years, I think every game gives us about the same. We always get a really good number of multiplayer maps on the disc itself. We always get the campaign. We always get something extra thrown on top of that. In Modern Warfare 2, which was was the first time no, actually World at War was the first time they started doing this because they gave us zombies. They started having zombies DLC, and they had, of course, the first ever zombies map, which was just an Easter egg for completing the campaign. Modern Warfare 2, we had Spec Ops, which was Spec Ops missions were surprisingly very fun. I enjoyed doing them. I have all the achievement points on Modern Warfare 2. I did all of the Spec Ops things on gosh, what is it? Veteran? Is Veteran the name of the hardest mode in there? I don't know. I think it is. I want to say it is. I'm pretty sure it's on Veteran. Yeah. And we end up doing that, and we end up getting all the achievements for that. And of course, you look at Modern Warfare 3, they had Spec Ops in there as well, but they also had some extra things in there, which was kind of cool. You look at Extinction, you look at Zombies, you look at Exo Survival, you look at Exo Zombies. There's always a lot of stuff that you end up getting in the game, be it DLC or otherwise. And Call of Duty itself just gives us a lot of content. I don't think I necessarily agree with the idea that Call of Duty is giving us less content on disc and that we should get more for our money, because I really think that Call of Duty itself gives us so much for our money, and that's one of the reasons why Call of Duty itself is so ridiculously successful. So many people play the game because there's so much to do with it. You know, it's hard to get bored, I think, of a Call of Duty game. You have the entirety of the campaign. Oh, what's that? You beat the campaign? Well, look at this here. If you beat it on the hardest difficulty, you get achievement points. So you go ahead, you try to do it on Veteran mode, or the hardest mode possible. You look at the multiplayer and how many, I mean, there's freaking like 30 prestiges in Advanced Warfare's multiplayer. If you want to keep going, you can keep going and keep progressing if you would like to, you know. And of course, there's all the fun of the multiplayer and trying to, you know, get better with the weapons, trying to prestige and level up, like I said, or trying to get score streaks, or just trying to become a better player in general. You know, multiplayer itself has a ton of replayability in that respect. You look at Exo Survival. If you're a fan of Exo Survival, you can try and get to high round on every single one of the maps, as well as you have Exo Zombies itself, trying to get high rounds on all the maps, trying to complete the Easter eggs, to try and do the story and stuff like that. There's a lot to do in Call of Duty, right? There's so much to do. So I don't think that they should be giving us more for our money, because I already think that they give us a ton, but at the same time, I'm all for the idea of giving us even more for the same price as what we paid for the last game, definitely. And I think we're going to be getting that in Black Ops 3. I think we're going to be getting that. I think we're going to end up getting a lot of stuff to do in Black Ops 3. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Of course, there's going to be the campaign, the multiplayer, and the zombies, and who knows, they may have some extra stuff in there. You never know. But yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily agree that we need to get more for our money from Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty themselves is already pretty good. Whereas if you look at other games out there, not to throw any names out there, but there's a lot of other games out there that are like a single-player campaign-only experience for $60 that has like maybe a 6 or an 8 hour campaign, and that's it. You know, and once you're done with that, you're basically done. There is no multiplayer. There is no extra game modes and stuff like that. You know, Call of Duty itself does give you a lot. And again, that's one of the reasons why it's so successful. That's one of the reasons why me, as well as you, as well as everyone else watching this video, we seem to continue to play it year in and year out, because there's a lot to do in it. And it changes every year with its yearly installments to the series. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Dear Nero. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel deserve some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare gameplay for this week's Dear Nero. I had thought to actually do some more custom zombie stuff for this week's Dear Nero, because I play a ton of custom zombies. I'm at the point where I'm almost playing more custom zombies than I am Advanced Warfare's multiplayer. But then again, I played like 10 hours in multiplayer yesterday, so that kind of changes things around a bit. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of custom zombies as of late, and almost every week for Dear Nero, I'm like, okay, so what custom zombie match am I going to do this week? But I know some people don't like custom zombies as much as maybe I do, so I'm like, we'll switch up this week. We try to keep the gameplay fresh here for Dear Nero, so some actual Advanced Warfare gameplay this week, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that along with this week's episode of Dear Nero. One of my favorite videos to make every single week, just a weekly Q&A, sitting down and chatting and answering some questions. Definitely a whole lot of fun. Well, if you guys would like to submit your questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, simply send me a personal message here on YouTube. That's all you need to do. You go to my YouTube channel, go to the About tab. From there, you will find a send message button, and from there, you may send your message for next week's episode of Dear Nero. We actually got a pretty small number of questions this week, which is why there wasn't a ton of questions. We actually didn't get a lot of them this week, so be sure to go ahead and submit your questions for next week's Dear Nero. Again, all you need to do is go to my YouTube channel, go to the About tab, and from there, you'll find the send message button. Keep in mind, if you're somebody that uses a mobile device, I don't believe you can send messages on mobile devices the last time I checked. Now, I don't use mobile devices, so I'm not really keen on this, and I don't really have too much information on it. So, apparently you can't from a tablet or a phone. There's just no send message button from the About tab. So, if you have a computer or access to a computer, you just go to your YouTube account on your computer. You can send your message that way. That way I can actually get it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero. Remember to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.